Feud between It Ends With Us stars Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni is now threatening to pull in Taylor Swift. After her name surfaced in court documents, Baldoni's lawyer says he could depose the star singer. And now a new $7 million lawsuit's been filed, this time against Lively.
Are you saying that they got changed copies of the communications, or that they changed the communications to remove emojis? Are you blaming the New York Times for doing that?
I'm blaming the New York Times for participating with Blake Lively's publicists and engaging in this campaign.
Things are spiraling into full-blown chaos for Blake Lively. Justin Baldoni and his legal team are throwing some serious shade, flat out calling her a liar just 48 hours after she slapped him with a lawsuit, accusing him of harassment and misconduct. But Justin and his attorneys aren't backing down. They're firing back hard, insisting her claims are completely false and boldly declaring that they have undeniable proof to shut down her accusations. This fierce legal counterattack has put Blake, Ryan Reynolds, and their inner circle under intense scrutiny as the controversy explodes. And Justin, he's not playing nice. He's unleashing text messages and behind-the-scenes footage, making it crystal clear. This battle is just getting started. For those who haven't been keeping up, here's the scoop. The drama escalated fast. First, Justin Baldoni, along with his collaborators Jimmy Heath, Wayfarers, and his publicist, went after the New York Times, the very outlet that first aired Blake's explosive allegations. But that was only the opening move. In a shocking turn, Justin followed up with another lawsuit, this time targeting Blake and Ryan Reynolds directly. And if that wasn't wild enough, this tangled web somehow includes Game of Thrones references, fallout from Taylor Swift controversies, and some seriously sketchy text messages. In his first legal attack, Justin claims the New York Times worked hand-in-hand with Blake to twist the story, selectively presenting evidence while leaving out key details to paint him and his allies in the worst possible light. He insists that before the article dropped, his team made it clear to the Times that Blake's version of events was inaccurate. But he believes the outlet had a bigger agenda, pushing Blake's narrative at any cost. And get this, he even suggests the Times deliberately published the story 2 hours early to seize control of the media frenzy. And as for Blake, she initially sidestepped a direct lawsuit by filing a right-to-sue letter with the California Civil Rights Department, a move that conveniently allowed her to avoid the discovery process and keep key details locked away. But now that everything's out in the open, Justin's camp isn't buying her legal strategy at all. They claim she was never actually planning to take this to court. Instead, they argue her real goal was to boost her credibility and control the narrative. Blake's biggest accusation? That Justin and his team were on a mission to destroy her reputation, allegedly using their media connections to push negative press about her. She even pulled out text messages she insisted were undeniable proof. But Justin's team isn't having it. They're calling foul, accusing Blake of doctoring those very messages to pull off a full-scale character assassination. And they're not stopping there. They fired back with their own receipts, leaked internal chats showing that Justin's team was actually worried about Blake's PR machine flooding the media with fake, glowing headlines about her. In one particularly revealing exchange, Justin himself asks, "How can we disprove these allegations? It's making us look awful." His colleagues rushed to reassure him, pointing the finger at Blake's publicists for orchestrating the smear campaign. Meanwhile, a PR strategist tries to downplay the chaos, brushing it off as just another PR move on Blake's part. And Justin's lawsuit? It doesn't hold back, directly accusing Blake of manipulating messages to shape her own version of events. Take this for example. Blake shared a text conversation where one of Justin's team members reacted to an article titled, "Could Blake Lively be cancelled?" by commenting, "Wow, you outdid yourself with this. Sounds serious, right?" Well, Justin's side is calling it a massive misrepresentation. They argue that Blake deliberately left out key context, like emojis and sarcastic tones, twisting the comment into something far more damning when in reality it was meant as a joke. And that's not all. At another moment, Justin forwarded a TikTok from Perez Hilton to his PR rep, Melissa. In the clip, Perez claims that someone from Justin's team encouraged him to post smear pieces about Blake. Alarmed, Justin immediately asked, "This isn't us, right?" But Melissa shut it down instantly, responding, "Absolutely not. None of us would ever do that." She didn't just deny it, she dismissed Perez altogether, insisting that no legitimate media outlet would take his claims seriously. And in yet another revealing exchange, Justin's team was seen discussing articles about Blake's past controversies. But Melissa stood firm. She told Justin they had no prior knowledge of any of it. "Once the media latches on, they don't let go," she explained, making it clear that whatever was happening had nothing to do with their camp. Melissa insists the backlash wasn't some calculated takedown, it was just the internet doing what it does best, digging up past scandals all on its own. And she doesn't hold back either. She even claims that Blake practically handed it to them on a silver platter. But the real bombshell? A text exchange between Blake's own publicist, Leslie Sloan, and Daily Mail journalist James. In the chat, Leslie defends herself, saying, "I don't get paid to bring people down, I'm just keeping it real." But James fires back, making it clear Melissa hasn't pulled any stunts against Blake. He even confirms that Melissa told him the same thing, insisting the backlash was completely organic. Leslie, however, refuses to back down, standing by her belief that something shady was going on. James then drops another revelation. He didn't even hear about Blake's explosive allegations until much later. And in all of his conversations with Leslie, she never once mentioned Blake's claims against Justin. Then, he takes it a step further, strongly hinting that Leslie has a habit of bending the truth and regularly feeding select information to journalists. This brings us to another twist. Official transcripts from Transcription Outsourcing, LLC had many convinced they were referring to Blake's accusations. But Justin's team hit back hard, producing a TMZ email questioning whether at least 3 HR complaints had been filed against him. Only these complaints weren't about misconduct, but rather workplace disagreements. Not even TMZ is fully on Blake's side. A TMZ reporter privately told Melissa that their sources actually described Justin as approachable and easygoing. And according to these insiders, the real issue? Blake's overwhelming arrogance. Frustrated, Melissa reached out to TMZ directly, explaining that Blake's team was convinced they were behind a smear campaign. But she stood her ground, insisting they had nothing to do with it. That's when the TMZ journalist dropped a cryptic message. "Wait till you hear everything. You think you know the full story, but you don't. This is unlike anything I've ever encountered in my career. What else could be lurking behind the scenes?" Then there's Blake's lawsuit, and it comes with one of the strangest accusations yet. She claims that Jamie Heath once tricked her into watching what she thought was inappropriate adult content, only for it to turn out to be a video of his wife giving birth. Blake says she was deeply unsettled by it. But Jamie fired back, insisting the video was nothing inappropriate, just a deeply personal moment. And in a bold move to defend himself against the harassment claims, they even released a still from the video as proof. Adding to the fire, the New York Times backed up another one of Blake's accusations, claiming that Jamie and Justin regularly barged into her trailer without permission, and sometimes it allegedly happened while she was changing or even breastfeeding. But Justin's lawsuit? It tells a completely different story. According to him, Blake was the one inviting him over, not the other way around. In a text exchange, Blake casually tells Justin, "I'm just pumping in my trailer if you want to work on our lines." Justin responds, "Copy, just grabbing a bite with the crew and I'll be right there." This conversation directly challenges Blake's claims, suggesting that she may have left out some key details in her version of events. And that's not all. Blake also accused Justin of deliberately trying to sexualize her character in the project. But Justin's countersuit paints a very different picture. His team pulled out text messages showing that Blake herself seemed excited to amp up her character's appearance. In one exchange, she gushes over an outfit, calling it much sexier, and even adds, "As a girl, I'd definitely turn heads for that look on the street." Then there's another huge allegation. Blake accused Justin of forcing unwanted kissing scenes and oversharing personal details on set. But Justin's rebuttal? He claims Blake repeatedly skipped meetings with the film's intimacy coordinator. And since she wasn't there, he says he had to be the one relaying the coordinator's instructions, something that, according to him, was completely taken out of context. Despite his initial hesitation, Justin and Blake did end up rehearsing the intimate scenes, without the intimacy coordinator present. But Justin insists it was all strictly professional, claiming their discussions were purely about character development, not anything inappropriate like Blake has implied. To back up his point, Justin even pulled out receipts, a screenshot of a conversation with a producer explaining that Blake's refusal to meet with the coordinator in the first place actually complicated their production schedule. But then there's one of the most bizarre claims in Blake's lawsuit. She accuses Justin of creepily whispering about her perfume while pretending to kiss her neck during a silent montage scene. Justin's camp wasted no time fighting back. They released behind-the-scenes footage that, according to them, completely debunks Blake's claim. The video doesn't just show the moment. It supposedly proves that Blake was fully engaged in the scene, not some uncomfortable bystander. In the clip, Blake and Justin are seen laughing together, casually discussing how to execute the scene. At one point, Justin even makes a lighthearted comment about his beard possibly brushing against her, to which Blake chuckles and jokes that her spray tan might rub off on him. Then, when Justin remarks that something smells nice, Blake playfully responds, "It's my body makeup." This, Justin's team argues, is solid proof that the interaction was anything but one-sided. Justin's team insists this was nothing more than a normal professional exchange, nothing like the inappropriate moment Blake is making it out to be. But then the lawsuit takes a sharp turn, diving into what Justin calls a power struggle over the film itself. According to Justin, Blake isn't just attacking his reputation, she's waging a personal vendetta because she got exposed for trying to take over the movie. Here's the backstory. Justin's company, Wayfarer Studios, partnered with Sony to secure the rights to the novel. As the director, Justin expected creative control, but instead, he claims he was pushed aside as Blake, who landed a producer role, started calling the shots. And then comes the bombshell. Justin's lawsuit alleges that Sony was so biased toward Blake that even the film's own editors were barred from reviewing her version of the movie. In a revealing text exchange, Justin asks if his editors had seen Blake's edits. The response? Absolutely shocking. "We're not allowed to look." Justin, stunned, replies, "So the editors and the director can't see the actress's cut." Understood. Realizing he was fighting a losing battle, he ultimately chose to back down, believing that giving in to Blake's demands was the only way to preserve the integrity of the film. But it didn't stop there. Justin also claims that Blake went even further, allegedly shutting him out of the movie's promotional activities to ensure that her version of the story stayed untouched. Blake wasn't just in control, she dominated the spotlight. And just when it seemed like things couldn't get any messier, Blake and Ryan Reynolds started subtly taking jabs at Justin, trolling him in ways so slick that most people wouldn't even notice. But when you put the pieces together, it's crystal clear, Ryan wasn't just playing the supportive husband, he was an active player in the drama. Reports reveal that Ryan Reynolds wasn't just on the sidelines, he was directly involved in reshaping the script. And here's where it gets wild. A cast member even confirmed that Ryan personally rewrote multiple scenes and made major changes. That kind of control, almost unheard of for an actor. But with Blake pulling the strings, the usual industry protocols went right out the window. And wait, you have to see this. From the very beginning, Blake and Ryan were constantly tweaking dialogue, adjusting scenes daily, and creating waves behind the scenes. Blake, however, played her cards brilliantly when it came to Justin. She showered him with praise, calling him one of the best directors she had ever worked with. She even claimed that previous directors had shut down her creative input, leading Justin, in an effort to be fair, to grant her more creative freedom. But that move backfired spectacularly. The turning point? Blake completely revamped a key rooftop scene, setting off a chain reaction that threw the entire production into chaos. And according to Justin's legal team, Blake didn't just defend her changes. She boasted about them, making sure everyone knew that Ryan and Taylor Swift loved her take on the scene. And as for Justin, she was eagerly waiting for his reaction. But Blake didn't stop there, not even close. She even invited Justin to her penthouse, where Ryan and Taylor Swift personally praised her script revisions, convincing Justin that her creative input was absolutely essential. And it worked. After the meeting, Justin texted Blake, praising her creativity and even promising to incorporate some of her suggestions into the final edit. And this is where the Game of Thrones references started flying. In one text, Blake even compared herself to Kaisei, claiming she had her own dragons backing her, Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds. But Blake wasn't just flexing her celebrity connections, she was exerting power. She made it clear that she held serious influence in both Hollywood and the music industry. And it wasn't just about tweaking a single scene, she had bigger plans. Blake wanted to control the entire script. First, Justin, wanting to keep the peace, allowed her to make adjustments. But as time went on, Blake's revisions became more and more frequent. Soon, she was questioning every directorial choice, turning the set into a breeding ground for tension. And the drama? It started long before the cameras even rolled. One of the most explosive moments? Allegedly, Justin commented on Blake's weight, sparking immediate accusations of fat shaming. But here's what actually happened. Justin never made any insulting remarks. He had simply asked Blake's trainer about her weight, because he had to lift her in a scene, and with his ongoing back issues, he needed to be careful. Yet just like that, the situation spiraled, fueling even more tension behind the scenes. Sounds like a reasonable precaution, right? But that conversation didn't stay private for long. Blake was livid. She immediately confided in Ryan, and before anyone knew it, he was storming into their penthouse, ready to channel his inner Deadpool on Justin. Ryan confronted Justin head-on, accusing him of body-shaming Blake. And just like that, the situation exploded. But Blake? Oh, she wasn't done yet. Not only did she refuse to back down, but she allegedly issued a bold ultimatum. Either Justin gave in to her demands, or she'd walk away from the project entirely. And if he didn't comply, she was ready to go public and accuse him of fat shaming. At that point, Justin was completely trapped, cornered between a rock and an inevitable PR nightmare. No matter what he did, there was no way out without risking his entire reputation. And to make matters worse, Blake had already turned Ryan against Justin. The tension was so thick that, despite knowing he was innocent, Justin felt like he had to apologize, just to keep the peace. But did that actually fix anything? Not even close. Production moved forward, but behind the scenes, total chaos. And here's where things get even stranger. Despite later claiming that Justin had sat her during the very first month of filming, Blake continued to text him constantly. Here's where things take a bizarre turn. Despite claiming she felt harassed, Blake was constantly requesting daily footage from the set. If she was so uncomfortable, why was she still so eager to be involved and insistent on watching every update? Is heading toward an Amber Heard 2.0 situation? Or do you believe she'll manage to weather the storm and come out on top? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And while you're here, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and stay locked in for more explosive updates. See you in the next video.